Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my May wrap-up. I don't know about you, but May felt like ages. I was just collecting all the books together that I read this month, and I could not believe that some of these books were still in May. I was like, I must have messed up my Goodreads, and I was checking, and no, it's just taken so long to get through this month. I'm so glad we're in a new one. This month I was in a little bit of a reading slump from the middle to the end, so I kind of read no books between the 15th to the last 2 days of the month. So we don't have that many. I know usually I read like a book a day. I've not done that this month. I'm hoping to do it in June, but it wasn't that good this month. I think I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, around 15 books, just under I think, that I've read this month. So I didn't do that great, but I also know that's a lot of books and some people don't read 15 books a month. I'm not dissing you, I'm just mean on my own standards, that's not great. I read a lot of these for videos, so if I've watched them in a video, I will link the video up there and you can go and watch it to get more detailed thoughts, because as I said, this month felt like forever and dragged, and so therefore I barely remember some of these books. The first thing that I read for my Reading Meg with Books favourite books and that was The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I was so excited to read this because it was like an Agatha Christie type murder mystery, and that is definitely my thing, a murder mystery. This follows somebody and somebody. See, it's been so long I don't even remember. But there's a wedding. Oh yes, Jules and Will. It's Jules and Will's wedding, and Will is like this famous TV presenter of this survival game, which is a big part of the story. And Jules is someone. I don't think she really does anything. She's just someone. And they're having a wedding on this remote island in Scotland because they want it to be the like wedding of the year, and they're like, it's important to have the best venue for the wedding. And so it is pretty high fetch. It's kind of hard to relate to because I don't know about you, but I'm not a rich person. Therefore, it is very hard to relate to rich people and their rich life problems. But I tried my darndest. The worst part about this book is you like no one. I didn't like a soul. You might like one of the characters who is the wedding planner, like the host of the venue. Still didn't like her. But the main problem I had with this story is I gave it a 4-star, so I still loved the story, don't get me wrong. It got a 4-star from me. I thought it was fabulous. I thought that the world building was quite nice. I enjoyed the scenery. Actually, the world building was basic, but it didn't need much world building, you know? It was a big island with a nice cliff face and a cool sea. But I enjoyed that setup for the story, and I thought it added a real creepy feeling and element to this murder mystery that you wouldn't have had at a normal wedding venue. And so that was pretty cool. I enjoyed the story. However, the actual murder doesn't occur in the beginning of the book. Like, you know it's gonna happen because there's like a body, but it's not a murder mystery. You learn about all these people, you learn secrets of their past life, which is very interesting. And then you get to the end and someone's murdered, you find out straight away, resolution. Which I didn't want. I didn't want that. I wanted, you hear about this murder and maybe like a third of the way in you see this murder happen and the rest of it's trying to find out who the murderer is. It's not that kind of story, which really disappointed me, and it probably would have been a 5-star if it wasn't for that. However, I will say I still loved this book. I thought a 4-star was a very good rating for it. I just expected a little more mystery vibe, whereas to me this is just a thriller. It was not a murder mystery, but I really did enjoy it, and I would definitely recommend picking this up. I then read Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, which is like a graphic novel horror comic. I just read this because it was on Scribd, and I felt like picking up an ebook that was easy and quick to read. This is like a collection of short stories that are all horror, but I didn't understand. I gave it a 3-star because I felt like it was fun to read, but it took me about 20 minutes and I didn't understand anything that happened during those 20 minutes. They don't end with a resolution, they kind of end with like a creepy ending, and they're supposed to creep you out. And it did to some extent, but I just feel like it was a bit meh. I wasn't feeling it, I didn't understand it. And so therefore it couldn't have been a 5-star for me. Like, I saw a lot of people voting it being a 5-star. I don't have much to say other than if you fancy reading a creepy horror graphic novel, it is definitely creepy, that's for sure. I'm glad I didn't read it at night. but I just didn't find I connected with it as well as I wanted to. Again, for that Megan video, I read Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. You think I'd know that by now? I don't. What do I say about this book? I feel like I've done enough of talking about this book between my Twitter and that video, and talking to everybody on my Twitter and telling them that I don't understand this book, and then being like, what do you not understand? And I'm like, the book? Like, I just didn't understand it. I am rereading this month. I'm rereading this as a buddy read in order to try and start again with this book. I really want to love it, and I feel like now that I don't understand it, I still don't know what the hell happened, but now that I kind of get a concept of what I'm expecting, because what I was expecting was not in this, I feel like I can bring myself to understand a little more. So I'm going to reread this month. I gave this a 3-star, not because it is a 3-star. Let me just start there, okay? I'm hoping my rating will be changed on this new reread, because that 3-star is so unbelievable. It shouldn't be a 3-star. Based on my reading experience, it was a 1, because I have no idea what happened. I don't understand it. I didn't like anyone. That romance that everybody ships is awful. What is that all about? No. Nagadoo. I do not think so. However, there's that one person, is his name Aiden? Oh goodness, I can't even remember anymore. Yes, Aiden, the AI. He is fabulous. He made this whole book, and like his portions are a 5-star. Very creepy. But I don't know how everyone knows what this is about, because there was no moment where they explained what the hell was going on. It just suddenly they were running from a high school, and I kind of grasped what was going on there. And the next minute they were separated, and I was like, wait, when did you separate? And I tried rereading it again then when I bought the audiobook, because everyone was saying get the audiobook, so I have it on Audible now. And so I went back to the beginning and I read the first 100 pages again with the audiobook, and I still was like, when did you get split up? How did this happen? What am I missing here? And I still don't know what I'm missing. I ended it on like a okay. And then the twist happened. I think it's meant to be a twist, only when you find out something. And I still was like, okay.
Oh. Hi. Okay.
I have no words. I put it as a 3-star because I don't know its rating yet. To be confirmed on my next reread, okay? We'll see. I've never tried so hard with a book. Usually I would love a DNF this book straight away, but I really want to love this book. And so I'm gonna retry. Hope for me, pray for me, everybody, that I like this series. I then did a buddy read with Connor and Jade for the new Holly Jackson Good Girl Bad Blood book. This is a sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Now, this book follows Pip, who is post the first book. She's obviously done that murder mystery, I won't spoil anything, and she's now making all of that into a podcast, and she has like thousands and thousands of listeners, and she gets approached by a friend whose brother's gone missing, asking her to help with the mystery, and she's like, I can't do it again. I almost died in the first one. My family was traumatized. I can't do this again. But the police won't do it because the person who goes missing is often doing these kind of things, or he runs away, and he's like, it's not like this time, please help me. And we follow her through trying to help her friend, despite not wanting to. Like, props to her, okay, for looking for this boy and solving the mystery behind it. I gave it a 5-star. This book is still incredible, and Holly Jackson, you will never guess an ending, ever. However, I feel like the first ending was natural, despite being crazy to the point where you can't guess it. Whereas this one was like, obviously you weren't going to guess it because there wasn't even a hint towards what was going to happen, because it made no sense. But it did make sense. But I mean, like, the actual ending made no sense in terms of you didn't get any hints in the book. You wouldn't have guessed it because there was no way to guess it. There was no foreshadowing, in my opinion. And I haven't reread it to know that, but from what I've seen, like, from what I remember reading, I don't remember any foreshadowing at all to help you guess the ending, which to me I don't like. Like, I like an ending you could guess if you really tried, or the hints are there, and when you finish it, you're like, well, of course, but I don't like an obvious ending. But I still gave it a 5-star. I thought it was incredible. I thought the writing was so good. I'm so excited to see what she does with them. I don't know if it's the rest of the series, because if you go on Goodreads it says there's 2 more books, but I don't know. But there is definitely another book. She confirmed it, and so I'm excited to see what she does with Pippa in the next book, because I feel like Pippa's just having a real tough time, okay? If I was her, I'd have moved a long time ago. So I enjoyed this book. I definitely recommend it if you liked the first one. If you didn't like the first one, it is the exact same vibe. You're not going to like the second. Then I read The Wicked King by Holly Black, which is the second... What did I drop? What? I swear something just dropped. I swear. Okay, never mind. Which is the second book in the Cruel Prince series. Oh my god, I love this series. I love this series. Oh my god. I cannot get the third one yet because it is not out in paperback. And I have paperbacks and I'm not about to buy all the hardcovers. But Jade pre-ordered it for me. My heart, when she told me, I cried. I legit cried because I was like, are you serious? You're so sweet. And it turned out to be sooner than expected. Like, it was the 23rd of July. I really hope it's June, but I'm pretty sure it's July. And I'm so ready for it. Like, oh, I love this series. This book follows... Oh, I can't really say because it spoils the first book. It revolves around Jude and Carden again. That's all I'll say. And I made a reading vlog reading The Cruel Prince a long time ago, and I'll stick it around if I can find it. And I was like, people ship Jude and Carden. That's disgusting. He's so toxic. Jarden fan over here, is that what they're called? Or is it cute? Jarden. I'm a Jarden fan. I can't help it. They're not even cute. They're horrible to each other, but they're so cute. I want them to end up together. And I swear if they don't end up together in the last one, I've seen a lot of people saying they didn't like Queen of Nothing and it was disappointing. I'm sorry, I keep touching my hair. There's like a hair on my forehead and it's really scratchy and tickly. I've seen a lot of people say they don't like Queen of Nothing, and that's really worrying me. So I am nervous to get to the last one, but I did love this one. It did take me quite a while to get into it. Like, I was into page 100 and I was kind of like, I should really put this down, but I persisted and I still thought it was lovely. I gave it a 5-star. Oh, this series is everything. Completely recommend. If you haven't read The Cruel Prince, stop this video, go buy it, and then come back. Okay. Next, I read The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, or Michaelides. This is about a woman called Alicia who murdered her husband by shooting him 5 or 6 times? 5 times. What did I expect? She doesn't speak anymore. She no longer speaks since the incident. She makes a painting to claim her innocence, and that's all she ever does. And then she's stuck into a psychiatric hospital, and this... Oh, it doesn't say what his name is, I can't remember. This psychologist, I don't know what he was called, what his official title was, but one of those people, a psychoanalyst, I don't know, came and wanted to analyse her specifically, so he got a job in her psychiatric hospital to study her and see if he can get her to talk and tell her side of the story. This thriller was getting slightly boring in the middle. I gave it a 4-star. I did think it was thoroughly enjoyable, and the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of like maybe a 3.5, but we're not going to be that bitter over a 0.5. I really enjoyed the ending. I thought the twist was quite the twist. I guessed it as soon as like the sequence started telling you, and I was like, oh my god, I know exactly what's going to happen here. Amazing. Incredible. I loved seeing his personal life and his work life. I thought they were great. And I just found what you could see, there's just one tab. There was just this one quote, and it just, I'm going to read it to you because it actually really made me emotion. I loved it. About love. About how often we mistake love for fireworks, for drama and dysfunction. But real love is very quiet, very still. It's boring, if seen from the perspective of high drama. Love is deep and calm and constant. And I was like, yes, I love that quote. This was the first time I ever annotated anything, and I was like, that is beautiful. And I hate how it looks with just one sticky, but I needed that. And I didn't want to highlight my book, so I just chucked a lot of little stickies on the line. Looks ridiculous. I love that quote, and I thought this book was really, really good, and I would recommend you pick it up. And I hope you enjoyed the twist as much as I did. Next, I read Every Heart a Doorway with Shauna Maguire. Me and Jade from Paperback to Hardback are buddy reading this entire series, and I am living for it. This is one of the best series I have ever read. My nose is popping out. This particular book follows a boarding school, not an orphanage, because it's not an orphanage, they all have parents. Most of them are parents, but they're all in this boarding school for children who believe they have been to a magical realm, and the parents think these kids are crazy and they need to go to this place, and it's advertised as somewhere that will help your kids understand that they did not go to this realm, but really they all did, and the school is somewhere, a support system for people who are trying to get back to the world they feel they belong in. And you follow the perspective of, my God, will I ever know her name? Will I never know anybody's name? Is it Nancy? I feel like it's Nancy. I'm gonna say Nancy, and I'm sorry if I trigger anyone. We follow Nancy, who has been to her realm, and she goes to this school and meets all the children who have been to their realms. Are they called realms? Like worlds? And every world is different. So you have some which are like Candylands, and you have some which are horrible, really nasty places that have vampires, and yeah, it's amazing how much she can fit in a 170-page book. I felt like I'd read the whole book. Like everyone says I need it bigger and I want more, and I do. I want it bigger, I want more, I want double this. However, I am shocked that every sentence she put into this book was meaningful. Every sentence had an impact, and that is how I wish every book was, because you would never get bored. And there wasn't a moment I was bored in this book. I loved every character. Cade is my favourite character, and I'm pretty sure the new book in this series, I haven't read the whole series yet, but the new book that's coming out, which is like something about fields, the garden fields or something, is all about Cade, I'm pretty sure. And I'm really excited for it, because he's my absolute favourite character. And I just think you should all read this book. It is so overpriced. The books are like, 15 quid I think on Amazon. I was very lucky for Jay to have gifted this to me for my birthday. She is a sweet pie, and she's actually gifted me every other book in the series that I own so far. We own the first 3, and she's gifted all 3 to me, and my mind is blown. So I'm gonna have to buy the 4th one before she has the chance, but we haven't read that one yet, so I'm gonna get ahead. But this book was incredible. I'm in love. I'm absolutely in love. Please pick up this series right now. Go. So following that 5-star read, I had to read the second book, which is Down Among the Sticks and Bones, also by Shauna Maguire. And this one follows Jack and Jill from the first book in their land, which involves vampires and living in this village owned by a master vampire. And Jack and Jill split between a vampire and a lab assistant, and you see how it's a prequel to the first book, so you see how they lived in their world, why Jill became the way Jill is, and all that. I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but this was an incredible book as well. A perfect prequel to Jack and Jill's story. I adored it, absolutely adored. And it was another 5-star. I can't say too much because spoilers, but it was another 5-star, amazing. I then read the first installment of a new graphic novel called Rock Heaven, and the first book was called Saturday and Sunday. This was a graphic novel following Saturday and Sunday, who are little people. I don't know what they are. Ants? I can't remember. They're like little things. And they want to find the meaning of life. So they go on a journey around this deserted island. It's not a deserted island. Around this island that they live on to find answers of where they came from. Which was a cool concept. I gave it a 3, only because it was an arc and I was being generous. I really didn't like the story. I was bored. However, I think it was more made for children than for me, and it answers really good questions upon grief. And if you were a child, it would be really helpful to see how not everything matters as deep as it feels. I just don't think for me it did me any advantages, and I didn't enjoy it. I was kind of bored, and I don't have much to say on it. I then read The City of Bones. No, I didn't read The City of Bones. I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, the first instalment of the Mortal Instruments series. This was hit and miss. I read the first half and thought it was the most boring thing I've ever seen, but I was refusing to DNF it because I was like, there is a whole Cassandra Clare series. Everybody says the Mortal Instruments is not that good and it'll get better, so you just have to stick through it. So I did stick through it, and that's what put me in my reading slump. By the time I was halfway through this for half of the month, and on the last day I was like, I just have to finish it. And so I did. I sat down, I finished it, and I much preferred the second half. It still only got a 3-star from me, because I don't feel like it was that well explained. I understand that she had to like do the world building, she did, but I don't think this was done to a very high standard at all. I think it's poorly written, poorly planned, and the characters are rubbish. Like, I do not like the characters. I was very upset by that plot twist. It's a trope I hate. I really didn't enjoy that twist. I thought, what a cop-out. Again, same problem I've had with many books where they just use tropes I really don't like. This used it. And the 3-star was only because the second half of the book I was really invested and I felt like I was finally getting into something. I just started City of Ashes this morning, the second book, and I'm already again like, God, really? Do we have to go through all this again? I'm really excited to just finish it, move on to the Infernal Devices once I've read the third book, read those because I heard they're better, and then just move on to the rest that she's come up with. This is kind of like a real issue where you're like, I don't want to read this at all. But I'm trying. But now, you know, it was a 3-star, it was okay. Obviously you have to read them if you want to get into the Cassandra Clare Shadowhunter universe, so I'm reading it, but I'm not impressed. I then read Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Oh, Jude was like, you have to read this, is one of my favourite books. I watched Alice in Wonderland in anticipation. I watched the what are they called? Oh my god, the original one, just the original one, and then I watched the live action one. Both very terrible films. I did not enjoy those films. I know a lot of people do. I did not enjoy those films, but I wanted to watch them in anticipation for this, and this book, it was almost a 5-star. It just went down to a 4. It's about the queen, the Red Queen, is that what she's called? The Queen of Hearts, the Red Queen, before she becomes the queen and how she became so evil. And obviously you know she's going to become evil, so you know this isn't going to be a happy ending, and I still hoped for it. This book broke my heart. I was like, damn it, why, for the love of God, you have to do this to me? I'm really upset about it. I'm still not quite over the situation. Yeah, I'm really sad about it actually. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I'm really emotional and I cried so hard. I recommend this book. It is a good book, but I can't talk about it. The final book that I read in May was The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This book is written in verse, which is my first ever book that I've read written like this, and I really loved it. It follows a boy who, you go through his whole life and you find out that he's bisexual, or I don't want to say it, I believe he's bisexual, and he discovers drag, and you see his life from him growing up to becoming a teenager and struggling with friends and family and sexuality and identity and race. It was just such a powerful book, and it ended and I was smothered in goosebumps. I cried, it was just, I had happy, I was sad, I was upset, I was angry, I was everything through this book. I read it in one sitting. I just sat down and read the whole thing. I thought it was incredible. I gave it a 5-star. If my review wasn't enough to show you that, I think it's a really important book for people to read, especially right now. And I thought that the representation in it was brilliant from every aspect, and I really, really hope you all go out and get it because it is worth it. And I think everybody should read it. Thank God that is over because my throat feels like sandpaper now. Every wrap up I film, I know I'm gonna end it by feeling so bad. Ugh. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the books I read this month. If you have read any of these, let me know down below and let me know your thoughts. Or if you have any of these on your TBR/want to read, also let me know down below and I'll chat to you about it. But I really hope you enjoyed this video and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!